name is Christie Ramirez and I'm your soul coach. Today is Monday, April 12th, 2021, and I welcome you all to our daily morning spiritual guidance video. If you want access to every day of the week, please become a member of the Spiritual Counseling TV network for access to all exclusive content, including the daily morning spiritual guidance, but also therapy sessions, motivational speeches, my new Women's Empowerment Forum show series, and so much more. Special events, couples therapy talk show, Q&A radio show, just so much good stuff that you're really missing out if you're not a member. And there's monthly and yearly plans. Of course, with the yearly plan, you get an extra percentage off. And so let's talk about today. Today's video is going to be free. Once a week, I usually come up for a weekly message briefly to just discuss what I'm feeling of the energy for this week of April 12th to the 18th of 2021. Now we are basically in the midst of springtime. We are yet to reach the peak of springtime. So we're still in preparation mode. We're still in this patience mode, and we need to just wait for divine timing for our harvest of all the hard work that we've been putting in. This can be in relation to love, health, career, family, etc. Any area of your life that has been your focus this year. It's probably going to be along the lines of what your New Year resolutions were. I really suggest you purchase my new journal, The Rebirth. You can purchase it right now on Amazon. The link is in the description box, and you can also go on my website, christieramirez.com/shop, for access to all the links in English and Spanish. It's an amazing journal. Literally every night, just 5 minutes or less, what you're grateful for, plus other questions that I ask you to help you grow spiritually and experience the evolution of your soul, which is the slogan of soul coaching. But it's going to really to help us become better persons along the line and at the end of this year. Please also make sure to take a look at my new Youth 10-Week Soul Coaching Program. This is the program of the ultimate transformation. It's really going to change your life. That's the program for the transition phase between the old self, the old life, and the new you. And especially if you're just coming out of experiencing any shadows in your life, your dark nights, maybe leaving a relationship, maybe starting a new life, and you're in this transition stage, basically the purgatory stage, which that's the energy for this week that I'm really feeling. I feel like we're in this purgatory stage in reaching our heaven on earth. It's like that bridge, right? We're literally on the bridge. Whereas before this whole world crisis happened in the year 2020, if you want more details, again, watch my Lightworker University presentation that I did for 2020 to 2021. Go to my website, all the information is there, christieramirez.com/lightworker university. Information is on the description box. But literally, last year was like that first step towards putting our footsteps on that bridge between heaven and earth. We have been stuck in the earthly realm, but in the old earth, where it's very mundane, even very materialistic, very physically based. A lot of people have stayed behind, that's for sure. And those people that have stayed behind are very blind to what's happening spiritually right now, which is okay, because not everybody is meant to cross that bridge. And those of you who have awoken at last minute, last year or prior, are on this same journey as what I'm going to talk about right now. And you might resonate with what I'm saying. So we are still like in this in-between of what's going to happen next and what just happened, right? Including in the recent past and in the very distant past, like past traumas, even growing up in childhood. We're reminiscing a lot about this. I know that I have been in my personal life, and I've been just trying to understand the deeper lessons behind it, even the reasoning as to why some certain things happen. And I have been getting deep revelations. And some of it is not what you want to hear. Some of it can be scary as well. But God is telling us today that there's nothing to be afraid about. Because as we become these warriors of light, we become impenetrable in our aura, and we can stand up for ourselves in the future and starting now in the present moment. Because chances are, if you're a light worker, if you're an angelic being that has been incarnated here on earth and you've experienced bad memories, you've had past traumas, or interesting that, you know, that was a little bit emotional. I feel that was an energy that maybe a lot of you can't even talk about it because it's just too hurtful to even remember. And you know, God is telling you that it wasn't your fault, whatever experiences you had to deal with. And you know, it's just inevitable, right? Because when people grow up bubbled up in a very safe heaven, in a sanctuary, and then you step out unprotected, not because perhaps you're not protecting yourself, but because perhaps a lot of people are ignorant to how to protect themselves. And that's what created falling off the path, vulnerability, and of course then emotional chaos because of whatever traumas you're experiencing, or other energies trying to suck away your energy spiritually, right? Energetically. Remember, this all happens at an energetic level. Now, of course, when things manifest physically, that's like the ultimate tower moment already. And it's only as well an experience. I don't want to say so much a test, because if you're not knowing of if you don't have the skills to pass that test yet, then it's not a test, God is telling us, right? It's an experience to make us wiser, hence more discerning in the future, in the present moment, when it truly counts, when you're awakened. Because that's the difference between people who make mistakes knowingly, intentionally, and people who make mistakes unknowingly. Or, you know, I actually learned this in my Cosmic Consciousness show, the previous version. I am in the works of a new version. So the old version is not available in my School of Light anymore. So which is why I recommend that, you know, when God directs me to upgrade my classes, the old ones are out. So then you'll not watch those, but they all have messages. So you definitely want to become a member now of my School of Light, of my Spiritual Counseling TV network, because even the dailies have been upgraded. Anything that I did from 2020 and before has been erased, and only 2021 and to the present moment is available now for members. Okay, and I do that because, you know, if people haven't been a member before, it's not fair to those who have been a member prior and then those who are just coming in, right? So I do that because God has instructed me to do it that way. So if you see that there's videos not there, it's because you weren't a member then, right? So you can't complain about that. Anyways, so God is telling us, as I was saying, I lose track sometimes, but give me a second. I remember after my sip. Right, so there's a difference between those who make mistakes knowingly, okay, and what I was going to say, and those unknowingly. Sometimes those people who make mistakes unknowingly are also what's known as karmic catalyst. And there's a lot of that going on right now to test those other people who are off the path. And this usually happens, like, let's say some other person experiences some karma through you, which is very interesting in a way, but weird, because you don't want to hurt another person. You don't want to do anything to create even more sorrow for another person. And I'm not saying that this is intentionally, again, hear me out. It's just like, for example, let's say you were in a partnership with someone, let's just say, and that person hurt you in some way, whether that be emotional, mental, etc. And the innocent victim basically is not aware of even the abuse going on or whatever, and the other person perhaps experiences a karma through you. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a very weird concept that I was even a little bit having struggle understanding it, because it's like you become the karmic, like the test for certain people, okay? It's like if that person, let's say, mistreated someone else, that person that was a karmic catalyst, and they didn't know that it was a karmic catalyst, they experienced their karma because they didn't pass the test knowingly, because that person wouldn't lash out or publicly open up about it. But God sees all things, even behind the scenes, right, in privacy. And this happens a lot. I mean, this happened to Jesus, right? He was the karmic catalyst for all those Roman soldiers that crucified him. You see, he didn't force them to get on the path or to see the light, and he didn't force to change them Yes, there's a saying that you can change people, which I also want to talk about that, but it doesn't mean that you can't inspire change. Because, you know, what is it that I'm doing right now? My whole business is surrounded by wanting to help people change. And there's certain people that are just so stuck in their ways that they have in their beliefs that people can't change. But that's the belief that's going to keep you stuck. It's so limiting, that belief. You know, I've heard this all so often. It's like, let's say just for example, I don't know, like it could be a little, even just a simple minor habit. Like maybe a person doesn't journal, right? Hence I have a new journal, right? Maybe that person is not in the habit of journaling, but it doesn't mean that in the future that can't be a new habit of theirs. All it takes is 5 to 10 minutes, and it's not about forcing the person, but it is about perhaps trying something new. Because if people are stuck in their ways, and this usually happens in the older generation, which can be frustrating, especially for light workers, which is where we detach, right? But what I'm saying is that people shouldn't be in that position, because that's what creates stagnation, especially when it comes to transcending your karma and experiencing your soul evolution. You need to be willing to change. That's about being humble towards God, because if you think that you're in the perfect position, you know it all, you have it all, that's pride. That's keeping you away from God, and hence the separation between you and God. And that's what A Course in Miracles teaches us. That yes, changing your ways is a necessity for you to experience atonement, true redemption. And remember that some sins are not as horrific as other sins, right? Just because you haven't committed one of the 10 commandment sins or one of the 7 main sins doesn't mean that just having negative thoughts even is not a sin, because that most definitely is a sin. And so God is just reminding us to keep our hearts, souls, and thoughts pure. Because a lot of people are blind to that, and it manifests in just their attitude, in their personality, in tainting their heart. You can just see it in a person when they're harboring onto bitterness or anger. And it's really sad, because that takes away from their light. It takes away from their high vibration. So that is a message for this week. It's a very intense message, but I've been really feeling this energy. You know, this morning as I was meditating, I was actually having a conversation with God, and it was like very intense like this. I was like, I can't even concentrate on meditating, because God is like just revealing all of these answers to me, how people's traumas manifest in future relationships, even relationships, whether that be with their children or with their friends or with like other family members, how that childhood trauma is kept within them, and it unknowingly manifests, that it becomes a part of them, and they don't even know that it's become a part of them, and they just say that that's the way that they are. But that's not the case, because that's not how God was making you to be when you were born. He wanted you to be in this innocent state, and part of the healing process is returning to that innocent state. That's why it's hard. That's why a lot of people actually turn away from doing the inner healing, because it gets difficult. Yes, life gets difficult, but you know what? Just because there is a resistance to confronting these inner wounds doesn't mean that it's not what you should do. You most have to do that, especially during this year. And I just can't overemphasize for those of you who are holding back on your journey, because that's what I'm here for. I'm speaking to all of you who want to change, right? If you don't want to change, you wouldn't even be watching this video. Trust me, I know people that are like that, and of course they're not interested in what I have to say, but that's okay, because God wants me to continue to show up, because I know that a few of you out there are willing to change, and those are the ones who are going to thrive in life. So be proud of yourselves if you fall into that category today, because God is honoring you, God sees you, and God wants to reward you. And remember that this is not about separation when it comes to beliefs. This is not about religion. This is about spirituality. And remember that spirituality is basically the belief in the Holy Spirit, the belief in a higher power, in a higher source, and humbling ourselves before God, right? And that's what this journey is about. It's as simple as that. Choosing the pathway. Do you want to go on the light path or on the dark path? And there's only 2 ways. There's no in between. There is no gray. And you know, remember that everybody has a choice. And another message that I actually got this morning is that don't let it be too late for your redemption. because I was actually thinking about the movies that I was watching, Jesus movies, this whole weekend again. And think about when Jesus was crucified. There was two other ones who were actual crime guilty, right? One of them was like a murderer and one of them was a thief. And one of them was just so prideful that even till the end of his death, he did not want to atone before God or believe or accept that he believed in God, right? And that was the one that got eaten by the crow. Whereas the other one, yes, he waited to that very end moment to ask for forgiveness. But you know why? Because God through Jesus was asking people to atone themselves, basically ask forgiveness for their sins. But think about it, not everybody received that forgiveness. And you know why? Because some people are actually very just too cleverly smart for the wrong reasons, in that they'll use their whole life to do wrong and then wait for that last moment to ask for forgiveness, but it wouldn't be genuine, right? So that's the key word when we're seeking God's forgiveness and redemption. It truly needs to be genuine, and God will know in your heart. It's not about faking it, and it's not about finding a way out at the very last minute, because that kind of just, it made me think about it, because being that I have been educated in the psychology field, I've seen more than enough to know into people's brains. I even worked with criminal psychology, so I know the mind of a mastermind. And that just got me thinking, because let's go back to this example of Jesus and the two others on the cross. That one that asked for his forgiveness, the reason that he did was because he saw it with his own eyes, that it was undeniable that God was true, God was real. And God is asking us to not wait till you have to see it, but have blind faith already from the beginning. Don't wait, because many people will not even witness that miracle per se. Remember, the second coming of Christ is not coming yet. It's coming up years later, as was prophesied in the book of Revelations. Remember that the first coming of Christ, the Messiah, was already prophesied in all of the Old Testament, and Jesus studied the whole Old Testament when he was a kid. So being that we're in this moment of purgatory, because that's what we are in, basically, we're not yet at the age, at the time, the year that God is coming again on earth as a physical person. So we're gonna experience this heaven, this new earth very soon, within like the next 2 years. I have been saying this through channeling, through my journals. My Lightworker University really talks about that, and it's closer than we think. But don't lose sight of this hope. Keep the hope in your heart. That's a big message. Don't let any fears, don't let your negative thoughts rule your actions. You know what's right, you know what's correct, and you know what's in God's grace. So keep on that path. Stand up for yourself to anything that is not of light, or what's trying to hold you back and down. Cut the cords, cut the rope that's holding you back, and literally just step forward into this new life. The gateway of heaven is opening for those of you who are ready. And that's the new portal opening that's happening with this new moon in Aries that we are having this past weekend that we just had. So watch my spirituality retreat Sambo healing session for healing during these moments, and also my spiritual talk, where I'm going to talk more about the energies, astrologically as well, what's going on, and everything, just what I'm feeling. Of course, this ties in directly with that, but there's more. So of course, I don't want to say everything here. Let's get to the spiritual guidance for today. I know that you're all busy on Mondays. It's a productive day, time to get to work, so don't waste time. So let's get our spiritual guidance from God and Source today on Monday with these intense energies. It's about the mindset. And again, this ties in closely with what I just said, because when you shift your mindset and see everything as a blessing in disguise, even these hard moments that we're all dealing with, whether that be economically, financially, or just maybe even relational. Maybe you're having difficulties and tensions with family, friendships, the community maybe. So you really need to just change your mindset about what's happening. So balance is needed. This is also the justice energy that's coming in. There will be justice for those who are in the light. And focus on your spirituality, rituals, your spiritual rituals, purification rituals, especially today, is very much needed. Conquer all your fears during these moments and just steer by the compass of your own soul. It's about listening to God and let Him guide you on the right decision and path to take. Our daily affirmation for today on Monday. Oh wow, what a right away. Every cell in my body vibrates with energy and health. So today is definitely a day of focusing on our health, because remember that health is wealth. My mind is brilliant, my body is healthy, and my soul is tranquil. So my body, mind, and spirit health and wellness brand is really going to help you to clear your aura especially, and recalibrate, reset is very much needed. Okay, so today I'm going to get an angel message. And we have the Six of Ariel. Material needs get fulfilled in magical and unexpected ways. So this is once again, believing in miracles. Acts of kindness by giving and receive. By giving, we receive with a grateful heart. So we also might get a new emotional situation on the horizon. Maybe it could be towards love. Watch the April Love Show. It's already on my YouTube channel, also on my website. It's a free show provided by the Spiritual Counseling TV Network every month, and it was so good yesterday. Stay open-hearted, dreamy, gentle, loving. So today might be a day, maybe like take a look at my sacred days in my School of Light, including our Ancient Wisdom series, A Course in Miracles, which is the spiritual book club gatherings that we do every week. And this might gain you great intuitive insights, messages regarding relationships, and social invitations. And that is the energy for today on Monday. For the exclusive for the rest of this week, I'm going to be adding 2 other decks. I'm going to be doing a more extensive tarot reading with my classic tarot and my in-between tarot. So I'm being guided to do that exclusive. So if you want access to that for Tuesday to Sunday, definitely become a member at christieramirez.com/TV to the Spiritual Counseling TV Network. Have an amazing and beautiful day. For all of you just on YouTube, I will see you next week. Namaste.